Thank you so much for keeping it MKTV channel. This is Let's Talk About Love. And I'm here with Dr. Love, as you can see, and we're so much excited to host this show today also. So today we are talking about, obviously, our program is all about people who are in love. You know, we are not dealing with guys who are not interested in falling in love or not falling in love. So anyone who's out there and they are anticipating to be loved, to be taken care of by the opposite sex, this is your show. Welcome so much. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, kindly go to Facebook MKTV channel, like the page. Follow us on Instagram at MKTV_channel 254. Follow us on Twitter also at MKTV254 and subscribe to our YouTube channel, MKTV channel. So we were all brought up differently. Most of us, if not all, were brought up in an environment where having a boyfriend was not accepted. You could be even insulted and even, sat down for guidance and counseling around not to have a boyfriend or associate with men at an early age. With this, we could not be told to spend more time in, we could be told to spend more time in church, and doing other things that could occupy our time. Now, the question here is, as time goes by or as time moves, girls will be, put on pressure with the society or the parents, being asked, where is the boy? Are you getting married? And that is after maybe campus. You are seated there, you are home, and you're still single. You don't have anyone. So today we are asking ourselves, what is it that we do wrong as a society or as girls? What is it that we do wrong? Welcome to the show, Dr. Love.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Remind our viewers who you are.
My name is Elvis Wabuti, and I'm glad to be here on this show. Ivy has spent a lot of time talking about girls, and I don't know if I am the right person to be on this seat today.
Being a daktari, you are.
Thank you.
Yes.
So yes, it is a very familiar script. You finish, first of all, when you're in primary, you're told, don't date unless it's the right time.
Exactly.
And most of the repercussions that I mentioned, you will get pregnant, you will get STDs, STIs. When you go to secondary, you're told, you will get your freedom after Form 4. Then you finish Form 4, you attain the age of majority. A lot of the children transit from secondary to university or tertiary college at around 17, 18, 19 there. So the question you are asking, probably if we would push it slightly forth, is that people wait, and when they start waiting, there must be an end to waiting. At no one point will the parents now say, you know what, you're now going to college, and apart from going to study medicine at the University of Nairobi, go there also to look for a spouse. They will never tell you that. Apart from going to study law at Moi University Annex, I want you to start thinking about getting into love. So because our parents or our guardians don't tell us that, it is incumbent or it is upon us to know when the right time to start meddling or indulging in love relationships should start.
How should we know? How?
Some of the people we grow up with, an elder brother or an elder cousin or an auntie who is living within the community or the locality or a home, are meant ordinarily, they are meant to help the younger ones. Just the same way we are talking to the viewers right now. Somebody somewhere listening right now can pick one or two things. However, our society as it is developing from purely traditional to a symbiotic or a mixture of traditional and Western, has come up with so many other aspects or methods of solving that problem. So I want to believe as you're going to university, you are going to university identifying with a certain cousin or a brother or an uncle who in most instances hint you what is going to happen at the university. you will hear so many people telling you at the university you'll have a lot of freedom, at the university your parents will not be there, at the university you'll meet this and that. That is actually the time that these children or these teenagers are supposed to be told that. So that by the time you are transitioning from high school to university or college, your mind is ordinarily prepared to take in the challenges. Now, you've rightly pointed out that some of us are coming from purely traditional and religious backgrounds, where you have told that you've been told that if you make love to a man, you'll get pregnant, and or you'll get diseases, and as a result, you will be excommunicated from my home.
Yeah.
So even before we start dating, there is that fear. The cons have been painted in bold capital letters other than the pros. Parents who don't have a prowess in talking about sexuality of their children or matters to do with love, who shy away from even telling them, guiding them on that road, will always abandon the children to make decisions on their own. But those parents, however religious they are, who sit down their children and tell them, look here, I know that you are growing, you are changing from a child to an adult, you have transitioned through adolescence, and you are now getting into a region where you can make your own personal independent decisions. Always have a product in their children who is comfortable and confident in life. So the notion of going through church or being a church person or church going person in the strict sense of the word does not suffice. Because in the scriptures, there is no book that entirely commits or dedicates itself to address the issues of love. Songs of Solomon is the closest we come to a biblical text that talks about love. And yet even in the church, there is an interpretation that is given that the love and the bride that is being quoted in Songs of Solomon refer to and relate to the church and the body of Christ. So therefore, even as we are in church,
sorry,
yes,
I think during the weekend I was reading somewhere that we are not supposed to. Okay, the church is not supposed to translate Song of Solomon. We are just supposed to get
read
it the
as
way
it is. Yes, those are liberal people talking, but the traditional people. If you find somebody on the altar reading the Songs of Solomon, kiss me with the kisses of your lips, they will want to translate that into some text that is comfortable for their congregation. They will not tell you that's love. They will tell you it is a relationship of love between the church and the body of Christ.
And is that the way we are supposed to go?
Before I answer your question, let me give the chronology of how these ladies in their 30s and their 40s find themselves stranded, unable to make decisions, or inactivated by the events that have been in their lives. Because we just don't wake up and we are 40. I have started off by telling you that they have gone through school system. Now they are pumped into society with the restrictions, for example. They go to church, and even the texts that were supposed to help them make up informed decisions are being coded and translated or interpreted, I would say selfishly, to suit certain spiritual interests. So basically, these people are left on their own. You've been told that both good and yes and no are wrong. Once you want to start the journey towards falling in the relationship, you go back home and your parent tells you this is not the way it's supposed to be. The way we dress in church, the way we talk in church, the way we relate in church, even in doing those, vacations and holidays and teachings, does not bring the real person outside. We do it with a lot of censorship.
Yes.
There is a way you walk in church. There is a way you talk in church. There is a way you praise in church. There is a way everything has been censored. So the real person will never get out. Unless and until we are dealing with a liberal church that gives them an opportunity to explore who they really are, they will remain in a certain cocoon, in a certain enclosure. So by the time they realize that they have to get out of this cocoon, the biological clock is ticking. Menopause is beckoning. Okay? Having said that, You asked me if it is a good thing to be in church or not. As in terms of whether it is a good thing to wait while you are in church or not. I say it's a good thing. Church in itself teaches us several lessons that are very important. They transition from love into marriage. In our last show, we talked about the 4 pillars of love. And we said it is respect, faithfulness, trust, and intimacy. Yeah. Intimacy and respect are not in the Bible. But if you look at faithfulness and trust, there's so much in the Bible. Faithfulness, we described and defined it as that which ascribes us to the deity of God. When God says it is you, he has chosen you, he will never change. And that is why we stand before the church and say for good or for better or worse, till death do us part. Trust, we said, it borders on integrity. And we said these are things that you can do, that you do in the absence of your spouse. Just the same way God is above in heaven, and we are here on earth. And we conduct ourselves so that in everything we do, we know that God is watching us. The same thing. Yeah. But you see, the element of intimacy is not taught in church. The element of respect, the element of knowing that we are different is not taught in church. In fact, in church we are told we are the same before the eyes of God. Yeah. We are wonderfully and fearfully made. And we are actually the same. Before God, there is no boy or girl. It is a sexless community, okay? So I want the viewers who are seeing us today to understand that it is important for us to wait in the church if we are developing these 2 pillars of love and marriage, which we called trust and faithfulness. But for us to be fully activated to meet our spouse, to go through the process of love, there are other 2 additional elements. If you want to date, you must come out of your cocoon. Start identifying with those elements and things that you want in your spouse. If you are a liberal person, show that those elements and qualities of being a liberal person from the way you dress, the way you talk, where you hang out, the people you interact with are the same people you will attract. So if you are conservative, do the same. Because if you are conservative and probably you're going to places where only liberal people meet, you're bound to be attracted to or to attract a person who you want to go far with. Exactly. So if you are a church person and you are considering to start to date, and probably even in church you've been identified as a liberal person, find a comfortable ground where you can start, like putting posters and placards out there that I am available. I know traditionally women, especially church-going women, find it difficult to approach men to say that they are available. Sure. But having said that, it's not easy in our society, having transitioning from traditional to modern society, to find a woman meeting a man and saying, look here, I am available. However, there are telltale signs. A woman who wants a man will walk and talk and behave in a specific manner that the man will realize that she's available. That's what we are talking about. The only problem is for the conservative persons, the people who don't ordinarily shout their availability. This is the group that probably they need marriage counselors, youth pastors, people who can speak to them and interact with them on a personal basis. We have people who speak very little. In the human psychology, we have extroverts, introverts, and ambiverts. Extroverts are those people who speak on and on and on, and the way they behave, they are outgoing and they interact. They will even ask you, excuse me, what's your name? My name is Darling. Yeah. Can we have a coffee, for example? Those are outgoing people, extroverts. Yeah. Introverts would like to pass through life unnoticed. They wouldn't speak anything unless they are asked to respond, for example. So these are the people that really need help. If they are in church, whether they are in praise or worship or they are in other ministries, for you to identify their needs takes an extra person to go and sit them down and tell them, look here, you went to school, you have 1 degree, you have 2 degrees, now you have a job. So what is remaining is for you to settle down. Yeah. Yeah, those ones I can comfortably say that they really need help. But the other extroverts and ambiverts are people who can carry through the assignment of dating so comfortably. Yes.
Awesome. All right. Oh my God, I'm lacking what to say. But again, before we talk about the next thing we're going to talk about, if you haven't liked our Facebook page, click the like button. Share this video to your loved ones. I'm sure they will like it and they will come back again to watch more of this. If you haven't liked followed us on all our social media platforms, you can follow us on all social media platforms. I'm sure Dr. Love also has his own social media platforms. Those who are asking for his number, please. We don't give numbers publicly. You can follow him on his social media handles. I'm sure he will give us or let us know as we finish this show. So there's this set of girls who've gone through disappointments and heartbreaks. Even some of them even have firstborns already. They have kids, and they're approaching 40. They are in their 30s, but they still not someone who can love them unconditionally and say that I can settle with you. Is there hope for them?
Ivy, I will start by saying that human beings don't lack the capacity to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
On a daily basis, we are making each other or ourselves better every day. You are not the way you were unless it is by personal decision. We keep on advancing and changing and learning and being wiser. A mistake of yesterday should never be meted to me today and should never be projected as a mistake I'll do tomorrow or in my future.
Yeah.
So there is absolutely no time when love expires.
Okay.
I have seen people of advanced age, some of them are widows, some of them are widowers, confessing and saying that, look, I had never felt this. I really feel like I am now in love. It means that the parameters, the ingredients, the principles that you had laid before were erroneous to an extent. A heartbreak is as a result of an erroneous set of principles. In our previous show, we said that I need to be on the same page with you, Ivy. If I say I love you, it has to be commensurate or it must measure to the same standard as what you say when you say you love me. We should understand what this love we are talking about is all about. So that when I say I love you and you say I love you too, we are on the same page, in fact, on the same line. So if at all we were on different pages or reading different books, I was reading a book of how I can disappoint you, and you are reading a book of how you can fleece my money, for example. Those are two different books. It will not end up in love or marriage. Having said that, if at all those rules or those principles were not, in tandem with each other, and you have since stopped seeing the other guy, I'm not saying that you make this realization and you're still dating and you start dating over again, but there has been a break. The other guy is now in the background or the other lady is now in the background, and you are starting afresh. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? How do I get it? I am a single mother of two. What do I want? I want to get married to a person who loves me as I love him. And how do I get there? By dating. How do I start the dating? I have to make myself available to the right people. You don't attempt to get the right person from a group of wrong people.
Okay.
If you are in a company of wrong people, chances are above 50% that you will get the wrong person. So you have to put the right posters to the right people. I am available to this kind of a person. Okay? You digest and become so true to yourself, you don't hide who you really are. The problem is when you are a single mom, for example, and you are insisting erroneously to go back in time and meet somebody probably who's never had a family or who's never been in love. There's going to be a discrepancy in your ages, You will meet this young man out of school. You are able to give him money. You are able to rent for him a house, but he will never be your age. If you're meeting this person and probably he's also had a heartbreak, he is a father of one child, and it becomes easy for you to do the marketing. Okay? So that the problems you are encountering in your life as in raising a child is similar to the problems that he's encountering. You become similar in some way. So yes, the people who've waited and have been heartbroken and in one way or another feel that they can still love again, it's very easy. Ask yourself who you are, what you want, and how to get there. Those are 3 steps. Who you are, you have to do a soul searching, a deeper analysis and journey to yourself. Probably the relationship didn't work because of you, and you are not planning to get into another relationship when you haven't changed yourself. I have met people who say, I have a problem with my temper. I think it comes from my family or my community are purely temperamental people. Deal with that first. Because the moment you repeatedly get into a relationship and you haven't dealt with yourself, the results will be the same. You cannot do the same things the same way and expect different results.
Okay.
So after you've done an inward journey, a journey into yourself, knowing exactly who you are, what your shortcomings are, and how you can deal with them, you now move to the next step, which is called, where do I want to be? Do you want to be in a family outside marriage? Do you want to be in a marriage? A family outside marriage, for example, is where this guy is already married. You're coming in as a second wife.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to get somebody who's never been married? So that, it's just the two of you, and probably is coming in with a child or no child, and probably you have children. How is the dynamics going to work out? Are you going to love his kids as much? Have you dealt with yourself, especially on the fact that he's going to come with children? Are you able to love another person's children? How are you going to deal with the issues of him meeting the mother to the children in a relationship that is not romantic? Are you the jealous type so that when you see them together, you start feeling irritated? He has told you, there is absolutely nothing between us except the children. But every time he goes to pick the children from her, you feel like there is some competition, insecurity cropping in.
Yeah.
That is a journey you have to do, inside of yourself. I want to be married, but I know I might get somebody who has children. How am I going to deal with that? I want to be in a union that is not purely marriage. It is a family outside marriage. Probably he has a wife. How am I going to deal with the insecurities of him going to the other family, spending there a week, and then coming to me? So those are the issues you have to ask yourself. That is where you want to go. And how do you get there?
How do you get there?
How do you get there is a balance of these 2 factors. Because it is more of getting into a relationship before you get into the relationship. You analyze the facts and the events against a backdrop of probabilities. Okay? I don't want to be technical here, but let me simplify it for you. You want to be married to this guy.
Yes.
This guy has 1 child and an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend. The way you're marketing yourself has to be a balance between being desperate and also playing hard to get. A balance. So that you're not throwing everything of yours to him. You're saying, I'm more than available. And you're also not playing too hard to get. It is a balance. So that it's chalk and cheese. You're being careful not to be hurt the way you were hurt again. And you are also being considerate so that you don't hurt him because he has also been hurt, for example. Yeah.
Now, before we take a break, I have a question.
Yes.
Is it right to date while you're still dating? What I mean is, I'm dating him, for example, and I'm not saying the man I want in my life. Is it right for me to get another person or get into another relationship as I leave this one?
Those are jokes. For lack of a better
Do you
word,
mean?
those are jokes. Those are the things that lead to people hacking each other to death. Okay?
Really?
It is either I am in this relationship or I am not. There must be an element of closure before you open any other channel of communication. That is something that I am prepared to defend with with the whole of my body. If I am in the relationship with Ivy, first of all, I analyze the problem.
Yeah.
I communicate to Ivy the problem, and I tell her, Ivy, it is not possible for us to continue dating. It is proper that we keep distance from one another. It's not easy to make those decisions, especially given that you have spent probably a lot of time together, or you have made progress. You even have maybe a child as a result of that relationship. So it's not easy. But as you keep on keeping distance from one another, you think clearly. And probably the decision you will come up with, or he will come up with, might be that it's not working. It's not worth the hassle. So the best and the most honorable thing is to bring this relationship to a closure.
First.
If you don't bring the relationship to a closure, you are opening up two things. A heartbreak for him, and falling prey to conflicting emotion for you. Because all men are more or less the same. The way we visualize things, the way we carry each other.
What did you say again?
Almost all men,
Really?
yes, react. We are men. You are women. In our first lesson we said, you come from Venus, we come from Mars.
Yeah.
The package is almost the same. So if you've not closed with me and you are seeing someone else, it means you'll start falling prey to conflicting emotions. There are things that I do good that he can't do good. There are things that he does good that I don't do good. So you will have a bit of you with me and a bit of you with him. So where are you? You'd rather make a closure to this. Put all your focus and energies to the new relationship. Give it your all. The moment you start having this chalk and cheese, a bit of him and a bit of me, that is where you get it wrong. Once you hurt me, and probably he realizes that you are with me when you are with him, so what guarantees do you have that he won't hurt you?
All right. Thank you for that answer. We are going for a short break. Let me remind you to like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, MKTV channel. I am your host, Apeti Ameka Ivy, and I'm here with Dr. Love.
Elvis Wabuti.
We will be right back.
Wow.
Thank you so much for continuing to keep it locked at MKTV channel. This is Let's Talk About Love. And in case you have any question or any comment, kindly use the comment section to give us your concerns. If in case you would like to talk to Dr. Love directly and privately, I think he will leave his social media handles here. As I told you earlier, we are not giving out phone numbers. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for liking our page. Thank you so much for following us. And we won't thank you enough. If you haven't liked, if you haven't followed, kindly do so, because there's a lot that, you know, is passing you by. Now, welcome back.
Thank you.
I have a question. We live in an era where it is a digitalized or a digitized generation, where the world is a global village, and you know everything is done on social media. So at some point you can say that people are growing up browsing, using their phones, and it denies us the courage to face people, like face to face, personally, and you know express our concerns. So relating to our topic today, are dating sites a thing to go by? Does it work? I meet you on Facebook, for example. I meet him on Instagram, for example. I meet the other person on the other dating sites. Does it work? Is it a thing to go by? Should we embrace that?
The answer is, unfortunately, yes and no at the same time. and I will explain both. I'll start with the yes. You see, dating in itself is the identification of a need and moving in to try and satisfy that need. And in this regard, we're talking about love and probably marriage. And we have, in this show, talked about different personalities, introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts. And we have defined them that there are people who are outgoing and there are people who are not outgoing. But when they hide behind a keyboard, everyone is the same. Even the ones that can joke and crack jokes will crack them on the keyboard. Even the ones that shy away from doing that will be able to do the same. So social media in itself gives you an opportunity to equalize the characters of a person. It gives you an opportunity to progressively interrogate the partner and also to progressively release information to the partner without being in a hurry. If I meet you face to face, I don't have the time to plan myself and organize myself to answer you to your satisfaction, for example. If you were to ask me, Elvis, why do you love me? I really have to give you that answer probably almost instantly. But if you have asked me on a dating site, I can have time. I can research. I can organize myself to give you a perfect answer. So dating sites, in my view, are comfortable for people who have a certain character or a certain trait that ordinarily denies them an opportunity to shine when it is face to face. These are people who need more time to give concise answers. These are people who would like to you know, like clear out certain images before they post. You get?
Yeah.
So it gives them that opportunity to date. And it's a very extraordinary platform, especially for them. However, on the no side, it opens you to the global market. In Africa, in Kenya, for example, the way we do our dating is both intrinsically and extrinsically different from the way the Chinese do their dating, from the way the Indians do their dating. There are similarities here and there, but even in the way they engage each other on matters of love and marriage is different. So we are imagining that a child, a girl from Kenya, is engaging a Pakistani person, okay? You are opening up not one dynamic, not one variable. You are different in so many other things, and it will depend on your ability to juggle all these differences as you are dating. For example, here in Kenya, in most cultures in Kenya, the ethnicities that we have, women tend to cover their bodies. We are inward looking and we hide and we preserve these bodies for the Mr. Right or the Miss Right once we get married. There are other cultures that they see the person within. The body is nothing. They go swimming with their parents and their in-laws, and it's not so much a big deal going to swim with your father-in-law. And you are in a bikini and he's in some sort of a boxer, and it doesn't. If you picture that, for example, in the Kenyan context, it would border on an abomination. So when you start dating, you're going to find yourself in a precarious position where you don't know which variable you should concentrate on. He will ask you for nudes, for example. Probably in their culture, he just wants to admire the way you are, your contours are. But here, it is a no-go zone, you get? So, for it to be a yes on the dating sites, the person must have 100% awareness of himself. She or he should know exactly who he is or she is and identify exactly what they want. Otherwise, there are also heartbreaks on the internet, people taking advantage of each other on the internet, people going into relationships for fun, short-living escapades, where they create a romantic moment, they romanticize the idea, you feel like it is you are beyond the clouds, you're actually touching the sky, and then they
Yeah.
vanish.
True.
And therefore, this leaves the person in absolute confusion. You really don't know which button you pressed, the wrong button that you actually pressed. So look at the post-trauma, the post-traumatic experience. This person will doubt almost every person based on the experiences that they have had.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I say it is a no if you don't know yourself, or if you are not endowed with the ability to juggle these dynamics that
Yeah.
come with different cultures, different backgrounds, different races, different personalities, and different people. And it is a yes if you are comfortable enough. I don't want to say that our viewers come from backgrounds that they don't know how to juggle.
Yeah.
If you are confident in your life and you know that you can go on that dating site and get somebody whom you already have in mind, you know that I want an Asian girl who's gone to school, has a degree,
Yeah.
you know exactly what you want. Or I want this kind of a man. Probably one day I'll run for the office of the Secretary General of the United Nations.
Yeah.
I can speak more than 5 international languages. I have been to different parts of the globe. I've been to Australia, Adelaide, I've been to California, I've been to Europe, I've been to South Africa, I've been to all parts of the world. I know how these people behave. You have the readiness to interact with the international community. Then yes, you can actually go to the dating sites.
All right. Oh my God. I hope we got that right. So as we wind up, let me take you a little bit back.
Yes.
From a Christian point of view, we are always encouraged to wait on God,
Yes.
and as singles in church.
Yes.
How should we wait on God? And does it work?
First of all, you need to understand that Ivy, the Bible does not have a singular approach to love and relationships. It is not one. I'll give you an example. Adam and Eve.
Yes.
Adam was staying alone in the Garden of Eden. God made him to sleep. He extracted the rib, said, this is your partner. That is one aspect of it, and it plays even today.
Yeah.
Somebody in a superior point looking at somebody in an inferior point and saying, this guy or this lady really wants a husband or a wife. And because of their superior position, they source for you a companion, somebody who will be compatible with you.
Yeah.
And it works, even today. I have had friends who've told me, I've come from the United States, I'm back in Kenya, I'm looking for somebody to settle down with. My mother told me to come back to Kenya to get married, that I should not get married to those white people out there. Now I am ready for marriage, but I don't know. I just want you to help me get a woman, somebody to marry. Okay, and you would ordinarily ask what kind of person do you want and stuff like that. But eventually these people get to meet and they love each other and they find a family, and it's possible for somebody in a superior position to give somebody in an inferior position that opportunity, just the same way Adam was given Eve.
Yeah.
He didn't go looking for Eve. Eve was presented to Adam in the wilderness, in the Garden of Eden.
So in this era where we live in, is it possible?
That's why I've told you, I've
So
helped
it works.
friends. Yes, I have helped friends who have come from outside this locality, and they find the love of their life. So it is possible, and it's working. Even as we are discussing right now, somebody is coming from Nairobi to Kakamega to come and meet their spouse. Somebody they've never known. And they arrive in that house and they put down ground rules and say, this is how we will behave, you as my wife and I as your husband. And they learn the art of loving when they are already together. Just like Adam and Eve did. That is one. Two, remember the journey that Isaac did when he was looking for a wife. He sent his father's best man to go to where the mother came from, Rebecca. And they found there a girl for him. But while this person was going to look for Isaac, a wife, he had the qualities that Isaac wanted.
Yeah.
Isaac told him, the person who will, give water to the camels that you've gone with, the person who will tend to your animals, he will be like helping a stranger. That is the person I want for a wife. There are certain qualities that you must set forth and say, look, this is the kind of person I want. For Isaac, the most important thing for him is somebody who does not despise strangers.
Yeah.
Somebody who has a heart to help strangers. The other things can fall into place.
Yeah.
How shapely somebody is, how bright somebody is upstairs. He focused on the character, on the virtues, and it worked for him. And then we also have a situation where Samson and Delilah, that is another aspect in the Bible, where it was between the two of them.
Yeah.
I meet you, you like me, I like you, we create the love relationship. The only variance here is how they handled their love, with Delilah accepting to be used by the people from her side to sabotage Samson. But the love relationship that was there was cordial and mutual. Nobody brought Delilah to Samson. The Bible records that he found her and loved her and went and reported to the parents, I have found somebody whom I love. So there are three aspects that lead to marriage in the church. And therefore it is not like a straight answer of yes or no as to whether it is a good thing to be in church or not. Because even the journeys that people make in church before marriage are different.
So I want you to talk to this girl who's reserved herself, and she has kept herself for marriage, but time is running out for her.
I will tell her that she should be patient. She should be patient because there are certain aspects of her waiting that have not come to fruition. I want to believe that every person has an ability to attract someone. But how about if you are attracting somebody who is not in this room?
What is the question?
Continue waiting, do the same things as you have been doing, but find a way of coming out of your cocoon. Now, put this poster elsewhere, okay?
Yeah.
While you are in here, I know you can make a frantic effort to display your cover or your poster elsewhere. If at all you are approaching your mid-30s and you traditionally, religiously attend church, and you can try at your place of work. Places of work organize for retreats and exchange programs, and they organize, benchmarking. During those moments, seize the opportunity and give out the radiation of a person who is in need of a spouse.
Yeah.
It will work. When you go for an exchange program in another organization or another company, put your best foot forward. It doesn't necessarily have to be where you are.
Sure.
Don't come out of the place you are with confusion. Come out of that place with a resolution that this is what I want to achieve, and I want by the time this exchange program ends in September next year, somebody will have noticed me.
Hey, hallelujah.
And it will work.
Thank you so much, Dr. Love, for coming. I think we have come to the end of the show. If we continue, we won't finish. And let's keep other doses for other days.
Yes.
Your social media handles. Kwa wale ambao wanataka nambari yako, wanaweza ku-inbox.
For now, I would really want them to ask all those questions and all those concerns and issues through the social media handles of MKTV.
Thank you.
For today, as we progress and our viewership goes up and up and up, I will, so that I don't keep on telling them
Yes.
my social media handles, let them channel those questions here. We will discuss for the benefit of all the viewers.
And I wanted you to put it right for them, because they might be feeling that we are trying to reserve you for one reason or another. We have come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for keeping it. Let's talk about love with, I was about to say health matters. With me, Apeti Ameka Ivy, and with my guests,
Elvis Wabuti.
Until next Monday, have a good evening.